Oh, it's true. In the words of Kurt Angle, it's damn true. I finally, after all these years, guys, pulled the trigger on getting a copy of Wizard #1. This is this amazing Todd McFarlane cover that I have admired from afar for many, many years, and I now have this book in my collection. If you're not familiar with Wizard, Wizard was the guide to comics, as they would put on every cover, and it gave you some kind of water cooler talk. You now had your own magazine that you could talk about comics. This issue had a Todd McFarlane interview. You got previews of new comics that were coming up. This is the first appearance of the Wizard Price Guide, and it says Silver Age to Present. Let's go ahead and do a deep dive on this, guys. This is not going to be 45 minutes long, but we're going to go through here a little bit at a time. So you have an advertisement for Now Comics, which Alex Ross did some covers for Terminator back in the day. And you get Comics Unlimited, and they're congratulating the Wizard because originally this magazine came from the name of the Wizard of Cards and Comics, which was Gareb Shamus, who we'll meet on the next page over. His mom and dad ran this shop, and then that's where he got the name Wizard from. And they actually commissioned Todd to do the cover, and so that was kind of cool that you had one of the hottest artists at the time doing the cover to this brand new magazine. So what do you get inside of issue #1? You get writing and drawing the webhead talking to Todd McFarlane. You get trading cards, toy figures guide. You get when books are certain books are going to ship. You get a show and convention calendar. You get a crash course in digital coloring, which was a huge thing at the time. And next up, you get a little one-page deal from Pat O'Neill talking about what is an editor and what do they do. And before it was known as Magic Words and Jen McLaughlin took over the title, then you simply had questions and answers. For example, at the bottom here from Craig Cornell, it says, is Cletus Cassidy from Amazing Spider-Man 3, 44, and 45 going to be the new Venom? Another question was, let's see, what does the DC stand for in DC Comics? And you finally get a little bit of color here in the magazine with a picture of Todd drawing Spider-Man. And this is really, for its time in 1991, it's very much a product of its time, but it's journalism, okay? I know that Frank Miller would probably disagree with me once Wizard got to a certain point, because Gareb somehow had his thumb right on the pulse of what was going to be hot, and he really pushed to advertise X-Force, X-Factor, then going on to the Image books. And I really don't know that Image would be around or even be as big as it is now if Wizard had not have been around to push the Image agenda. I'm not going to say push it down our throats, because some of those books did turn out to be okay, and Spawn and Savage Dragon are still coming out to this day. But I don't know that Image would have gotten as big without that push from Wizard Comics. So it was a pretty lengthy talk that they had here with Todd about Spider-Man. And then after that, you get a short history of Spider-Man. You get to see Peter's favorite females, Spidey's greatest villains. You get to see this cover of Amazing Spider-Man. Well, it's Amazing Fantasy 15, but they've pastiched this Amazing Spider-Man cover onto the top. Let's see. And it's funny how some books stay completely irrelevant. This Omega Man #3, which is the first appearance of Lobo on the left page, is still a relatively hot book. And here's this article talking about digital coloring, and it shows some examples of that digital coloring that everybody, loves to hate on sometimes. It was, at this point, it wasn't where it was at in 96 and 97. You can see that digital coloring has kind of upped the game on some of these panels, but at the same time, you know, I was not a fan when they had Atomic Paintbrush do the digital colors on the covers to Amazing Spider-Man late in that Volume 1 run. Some of that stuff, it was just too splashy. But you get the Wizard Top 10 books, and of course it was X-Force #1, and X-Men, Silver Surfer 50, X-Factor, Spider-Man, the Platinum Edition, New Mutants, Silver Surfer #34, Ghost Rider 15, New Mutants 100, and you even get a kind of a grade, a grading your comics article, and it shows you the difference between what a mint to a near mint to very fine to fine to good, very good, and to poor. And that, there was something here. I forgot what was here originally. Maybe it was just another subscription card, but it's okay. I'm not going to subscribe anyway because it's not there anymore. But unfortunately, now you get to see that we go to the Yellow Pages practically, and it's the price guide for comic books for September 1991. And they did do the best that they could do at the time to show you some of these covers so that you had an idea of what books you were looking for. Sometimes that would help out, sometimes not. But at least they were trying to give you some pretty pictures to go with what you were trying to find in the comic shops. So it goes all the way through Howard the Duck, Gru, the New Gods, and then you get this ad, September Sizzles, and you get to see the full-size poster, which I wonder how many people pulled that out and hung it on their wall. I know I would have if I was a kid, of the McFarlane art from the cover. And now we're getting an advertisement for Wizard issue #2, which had a full color cover by Javier Salters. I've got that one as well, and we'll talk about that one in an upcoming episode. But you see the remainder of the price guide. Get another ad for Wizard #2. And then we're also talking about trading cards, so it's not just comics, it's also trading cards. #1 releases for the month, toys, comic shipping dates, and then there's the other side of that where you could get a trial subscription for 6 issues for $15, which was a decent amount of money back then. Or you could get the first 12 issues of Wizard for $28 practically. An article on horror comics talking about Swamp Thing, Sandman, Hellblazer by Lawrence Watt Evans. And these, like I said, these articles are not, you're not going to find them in the New York trade magazines or anything like that, but they were great for what they were at the time. You got to see pics from the Wizard's hat. You got to learn so much more about the inside and outside of the business of comics through Wizard sometimes. Some more pics. You've got Amazing Spider-Man 352, Mark Bagley's 2nd issue, Hawk and Dove, Incredible Hulk 386, and then an article talking about the new Rocketeer movie with the beautiful Jennifer Connelly down here at the bottom. You get to see one full color double-page picture from the movie set. And ads for the Dragon's Den, a checklist so you can collect your books, and then shows and conventions calendar. So overall, I think that was a very strong first issue, guys. It gives you everything you need to know. It's very professional, and it steps up the fanzine idea, okay? It's not like a fanzine. It is more, it's glossier, it's more polished, and it just brings a whole sense of, professionalism to the idea of collecting comics. So, hope you guys enjoyed this quick look at Wizard issue #1, and let me know in the comments below if you guys have a copy of Wizard, if you collected it when you were a child or a teenager, and if you have any good or negative thoughts about this magazine. Thanks for watching, guys. I've got more content coming up, so I'll catch you in the next video.